in the Breonna Taylor case.
At least one person was hurt after two vehicles plowed into protesters. And CBS 2's Joy Benedict is live in Hollywood with the latest on this story. Joy, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, certainly not the scene that anyone wants to see in what's supposed to be a peaceful protest, but obviously this has been a very disturbing issue for many all over the country, and it looks like that boiled over here last night. Take a look at this video as we have from last night in Hollywood, and very frightening moments when you see someone knocked to the ground by a pickup truck. All of this happened toward the end of a peaceful protest in Hollywood against the grand jury's decision in the Breonna Taylor case. Police say it actually started with an altercation, though, between that driver of the pickup truck and a different protester. When the driver attempted to speed away from the crowd, the person was hit. Well, the protester was taken to the hospital. Their condition is unknown, and we have video of that. Police pulled over the pickup truck driver a short time later, took their information, and let them go pending an investigation. But this wasn't the only incident. Take a look at this video also a short time later, something very similar. This time it was a Prius, though, that appeared to be attempting to drive through the crowd. Once through, police say someone with the protest chased the driver down in another car as protesters attempted to break windows and then attack the driver. The driver was able to drive away and met up with police away from the crowd. Well, this has been the second night of demonstrations in Hollywood over the grand jury's decision in Louisville to not indict any of the three officers who opened fire in an apartment for the actual death of Breonna Taylor. Police were issuing a warrant back in March when a man believed to be in her apartment. But when they entered, they were fired upon by her boyfriend, who says he thought they were intruders. One officer was shot. Three officers returned fire, and one of their bullets struck and killed Taylor. Now, one officer was indicted for charges related to the shooting, firing into a second apartment, but the grand jury ruled on Wednesday that the other two officers who discharged their weapons into Taylor's apartment will not face charges, calling their shootings justified. Of course, that's not sitting well with many people all across the country, which is why there have been several protests, not only here in Los Angeles, not only in Louisville, but in cities and states all over the area. Obviously, in a case we will continue to follow. As for the investigation into both of those violent incidences here in Hollywood, they remain under investigation by the Los Angeles Police Department, who hopefully will have a little bit more information for us later on today.
Hey, you guys. So I know you just seen the video of the man who he sped into a crowd of protesters. And then you can see he kind of slowed down, and the protesters tried to open his vehicle door, and he sped off again. I'm kind of glad he did, because I don't think they would have went too well, because I think that somebody would have yanked his little butt up out that truck and beat him up. I'm trying to tell you, they would have hurt him something bad, because a while back, I want to say like 2 months ago, this same incident happened where they actually did get the guy out the car, and a lot of the protesters ended up beating the guy up, you know, and then he ended up still getting locked up for running into the crowd. They still locked him up. But on this incident right here, the police actually called up with the driver. I think they took his information and they still released him. I don't understand why he was released after running into a crowded protest. Like, if you see a crowd of people, what would make you even think to drive full speed into that crowd anyway? See, and that's what I don't understand, why the hell they still released him, why he did not get charged, because they locked the other guy up from the highway. And I'll show a small clip of that too, you know, before I end this live. But that other guy, he really did. He actually got locked up for this, and he was charged. But I don't understand why this guy did the same thing. He actually ran the woman over, and they didn't even lock his ass up. They just talked to him, and he was on his way. You know, I don't understand how that happened, but I'm gonna keep an eye on this to see what else is gonna spark off of this. Okay.
Wow, this video just makes your heart stop. You could hear people screaming there. This is a semi-truck that you just saw speeding through a large group of protesters on a freeway in Minneapolis. The truck finally stopped and protesters dragged that driver out of the semi. Police say no protesters were seriously hurt.
It's been awesome seeing the community come